In this video I want to present you how I use the turn phases. I like this approach for video analysis and understanding other ski techniques, but I find this the best on the ski slopes too. It is a straightforward, simple and easy to understand explanation. First, let's go over the outline and after look at the phases one by one. First of all, let's draw up the dimensions of our turns. Imagine that you are standing on a ski slope and there is a corridor in front of you where you're gonna ski. The two sides, the two walls you will touch in each turn and the center line parallel the foreline. This is our playground which will help us split the turn into phases. Phase 0 is when the skier crosses the center line, the foreline. Usually all descriptions put the transition, the edge change somewhere here. Phase 2 is when the skier reaches the furthest point of the corridor, the imaginary wall. This is the geometric apex of the turn. Phase 1 takes from the center, from the transition to the apex. Phase 3 takes from the apex to the next transition. That's the general idea. As I said, it's simple and objective. And now let's break it down one by one. Phase 0, the transition. This is the no man's land. We are after the previous turn but before the next. It is a short, straight section. Of course, functionally, it's not just a point. It starts a bit earlier and lasts a bit longer, but the placement is more or less here. The inclination of the last turn goes away while the path of the center of mass approaches the foreline, but the skis run more across it, like a half moon shape. The skis aren't on the edges during the transition. An important point is that it's not a traverse. While traversing, the posture is permanent, the body stays over the skis as long as the traverse lasts. However, the essence of the transition is that the body falls over the skis downhill. So traversing as a static posture is the opposite of the sense of transition. Phase 1, then you hear initiation, high C, shaping phase and so on. These are mostly placed here. If I had to choose a name, I would call it initiation. In this phase, the center of the mass moves away from the skis. This is the first part of the half moon. The edge angle increases and the shape of the turn begins to form. The skier moves away in the corridor from the center line to the side. Phase 2, the apex, is sometimes called the control phase or shaping in the foreline. This is the furthest point from the center line. The skier reaches the corridor's wall and bounces back towards the other side. This is the real change of direction for our orientation. In the ideal case, this is where the center of the mass is the furthest from the skis, the edge angle is the biggest, and the greatest force impacts the skier from the turn. Phase 3, the low C, completion, release, some people put the control phase here too, all can be true depending on the actual turn style. From the apex, the center of mass gets closer to the skis, this is the second part of the half moon, and the edge angle and the load decrease. This is where the preparation for the transition begins. That's all briefly about this concept. More content is on the way, and if you found it helpful, you can support our work with the super thanks. It's a great way to help us. See you again.